Hi, Phoebe. 1 second.
Muted.
I'm muted. Shouldn't be. I can hear you. You cannot hear me?
I can hear you. I was muted.
Ah, good. I'm happy to hear that. Give me a second. I have to check whether the recording is running. No, now it's running. This is running. So you're being recorded. You know that, right? Okay, cool. Phoebe, we are alone for now. People come peu à peu. If they come, 7 people registered. So let's see whether they have something better to do than learning German. Hard to imagine what that could be. But you can have a one-on-one session on the house if you want to.
Ah,
If you don't, it's fine.
fine.
What can I do for you?
Ah, mein Deutsch ist schlecht.
Das
Ich,
ist gut.
ja, ich versuche nicht schwer genug.
Schön. Warum lernst du denn Deutsch?
Meine Tochter, ich habe eine kleine Tochter. Sie ist 18 Monaten alt und mein Mann ist deutsches Mann.
Ah,
Und ja, er will Deutsch sprechen mit meiner Tochter.
naja, schön. Und woher kommt dein Mann oder woher kommst du?
Mein Mann kommt aus Deutschland. Er ist geboren in Nürnberg und ich komme aus Australien.
Ach Gott, so weit.
Ja,
Cool. Aber du sprichst doch schon Deutsch. Was willst du noch lernen?
ja, ja, ich habe hier in Deutschland seit 8 Monaten gelebt. Ähm,
Mhm.
ja, so jeden Tag ähm, hat gehören, Deutsch sprechen. Ähm, ja.
Okay. Also aber wie hast du Deutsch gelernt? Nur durch Hören?
No, no, mit Smarter German.
Ah, okay.
Ja.
Nicht also impressive. Ist gut. Schön. Und du übst jeden Tag sprechen? Mit wem?
Oh, I'm lost now.
Mit wem sprichst du oder sprichst du
Oh,
Deutsch?
nein, mein Mann, Familien meistens mit mir spricht Englisch.
Hm.
Ja.
Mhm. Schön. Okay. Und wie viele Stunden pro Tag lernst du Deutsch?
Today?
Generally, on average.
Oh, 10 Minuten pro Tag.
10 Minuten. How's this possible? Must be an excellent course that you can just do 10 minutes with it. Really?
Nein, puh, 2 Monaten ago, behind, like before.
Mhm.
Ich mag eine Stunde per Tag für,
Aha.
ja.
Okay, okay. Das macht, das macht mehr Sinn. Ne?
Mhm.
Schön. Ah, impressive. Still impressive. So you're not practicing speed. We can switch to English as well, right? Not bad, not bad.
In my mind, I practice, but not.
Yeah, but for that, it's impressive.
Ja.
Ja, eine Stunde am Tag, so 8 Monate, 240 Tage, 240 Stunden. Das ist basically A21. Yeah, that's what the language school will tell you. So for that, it's pretty good, pretty impressive.
Okay.
Ja, schön. Kleine Fehler hier und da. Ja. Aber, und jetzt hast du keine Zeit mehr? Jetzt hast du keine Zeit mehr, weil du sagst 10 Minuten pro Tag. Das ist. früher eine Stunde, jetzt 10 Minuten. Was ist passiert?
Um, laziness? Nein.
Here's an important, so your homework for this day is then this word, Faulheit. Ich
Okay.
bin faul. Like in English,
Ah,
foul, yeah, like a foul in soccer.
mm.
Yeah, foul play. So, ich bin faul. Ah ja, okay, okay. Aber Deutsch lernen macht doch Spaß, oder nicht?
Ah, Deutsch ist schwer. Ja.
Ja, aber was ist denn schwer? What are you struggling with mostly? Let's see whether we can lighten the burden a little bit.
What is it? I don't know. This
Spontaneously, what comes up? Yeah. Freudian therapy now.
I can't have a conversation with the people in daily life, and
Of course
so
not.
I feel, what's the point?
Yeah, frustrating. I understand.
I'm just frustrated. I got to a certain point and I'm not getting better, but also I stopped trying, so it makes
Mm.
sense.
May I ask what's your profession? You can always lie, but just curious.
I'm a counselor, psychologist, yeah.
Ah, so, well, and you know the answer, right?
Yeah.
What would you advise yourself if you were me? Let's try this game. I like this.
How would I advise? I would say, be gentle to the part that's finding it hard and try and shrink it down to the smallest possible part that you enjoy and just do that for a while.
Okay, session finished.
Faulheit, is that like laziness?
Yeah, but see, what does it mean to be foul? Can you try to describe what you mean by that? Has different meaning for different people.
Um, I'm not pushing through the difficulty.
Not push. So we play this game a little bit until you lose interest, but I like it. So if I told you this, like, oh, I'm lazy, I'm not pushing hard enough, what would you advise me? I'm also genuinely interested in what you would say as a psychologist.
Well, I would need to know you better because it could mean pushing could mean something different to you than it does to me.
Or assume that it means the same as it does for you.
Okay. Um, oh,
And again, you can stop at any time if it gets too personal or too close. You just
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
But
obscure to myself, probably deliberately right now.
yeah, that's okay. I understand.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me speak. From my experience, what Faulheit could mean.
Mhm.
I'm foul. It means I don't want to invest time and energy into things that I really don't like.
Mm.
And I met many lazy people, but these people were extremely well organized
Mm.
because of the fact that they didn't want to waste time on nonsense. No? So Faulheit to me is can mean it doesn't no, it can mean something smart. You organize everything well enough that you don't have to do or
Mm.
invest too much time into things you don't like.
Mhm.
Of course, there's a judgmental part into this. If someone says I'm foul, usually it's a judgment, and that judgmental part is not necessarily necessary. There's an idea in your mind that someone expects you to do more than you already do, which sure might be true, but you know how it is with other people's expectations, right? There's so many people. If you want to please them all, you're busy.
Mm.
Yeah. The other thing, foul. Pushing.
Mm.
Pushing is something we learn all. Like I possibly didn't learn too much, but I also know the feeling of having to push myself, or I pushed myself in other areas, not necessarily in work or learning. But I was pushing myself hard for many years, and at one point I realized the only one pushing is me. Sure, there's other people trying to push, and then something else happens depending on what it is about, right? So it's not wrong to push in general. It's helpful, but be careful. Pushing is not the only or the most important element in language learning. I don't think you need to push through through German learning necessarily, at least not most of the time. Occasionally, sure. Yeah,
Mm.
because it's not, sometimes you just really don't feel it. And if you push yourself a little bit, then you sit down, then the initial inhibition is gone. So I don't think pushing is necessarily the most efficient strategy, or it's more an indication of the unlust.
Mm.
There's a non-desire there
Mhm.
to do something, and that is because it doesn't go fast enough.
Mm.
Something is complex and you don't get it the first time you read it. Yeah, you need to read it 5 times.
Mm.
I mean, you studied psychology to an extent in some form. Yeah. Did you go to university, if I may ask?
No, private
Pri-
training. Mm.
yeah, even there, you need to learn to read text and you need to understand what you are learning there, right?
Mhm.
And so that requires rereading, requires sitting with it and seeing what does this mean, yeah, to
Mm.
an extent. And if you study rocket science, it will take a few years until you get to the point where you are actually allowed to design rockets. Lucky for us, German is not rocket science. No,
Close to
no, it's brain surgery.
okay.
So literally, but different. So there's. I just say a few things, and you let it sink in. You're not alone. There's many people who really feel like I should push myself harder. I should do more. The word "should" is very important.
Mhm.
Should always means I think others expect this from me, and sure they might, but honestly, I don't think that is relevant. But it might be relevant to you. You want to please someone else or the
Mm.
society you live in. People look at you and think, oh, she's here 8 months or longer and she doesn't speak German. All these things happen. It's Kopfkino, we call this. Yeah.
Mm. Kopfkino. Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Very nice word. Yeah.
Nice. Kopfkino.
Yeah. So Kopfkino is not that easy to handle. So you need some support, some kind words. As you say, be kind to yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
some inspiration, which is why I'm here. Mm.
Mm. What would inspire you?
Ah, come on. Uh, maybe to hear someone else's story.
We can look at Craig and Ellie and ask them as well. Yeah. That is inspiring.
Mm.
By the way, as you work with my courses, I have a community in which people share their experiences, especially in the motivation channel. But if you look through the feed, you will find quite a lot of people sharing their experience, and that I find motivating.
Mhm.
And I don't need to be really motivated, except when I have to do my taxes once a month. Huh? But for my work, I don't need to be motivated anymore. But I had phases where I really didn't like to go to work. No, before Smarter German mainly.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it was hard to tell. It was mainly because I didn't understand what I was like. That I was lacking this. What I advise others, like, where's the joy in what I'm doing? And
Mm.
my joy was always communication with people, looking at the problems people have, and just try to support them find the joy back. Yeah, I I experience language learning as a joyful activity. I see the work part, but honestly, discovering a new language is like going abroad, discovering a new city or a new country, or yeah, an alien skull that then goes off in a UFO like in Indiana Jones. Yeah. So read books. What do you like to read?
Mm. Mm.
Do you read?
I
Or
do.
what do you
Yeah.
like to read? Dan Brown.
Dan Brown. I mean, I read text for my work. I like history. Um,
Uh,
I started watching some films in German, but they're a little too advanced. Mm.
yeah, well, you can watch movies like 10 minutes at a time, good enough. And then it gets boring to just sit through basically movie in a language you don't understand.
Mm.
Yeah. You see, you can try 10, later 15. Yeah, history, it's hard. Germany has no history, not much, right? So not sure what to advise there, whether there's any books hard to find. Yeah. It's a dark history. So I hope you
Mm,
like the darkness. So
mm,
maybe
true.
there's a lighter history as well, God knows. Read the history of soccer, Franz Beckenbauer's autobiography or whatever. Yeah. Read about our chancellor or something that lightens your heart. Merkel has published a new book. Of course, I haven't read it, but because I'm not interested in this stuff. But I read science fiction. I love that. If I learned a different language right now, which I don't, I would read that
Uh-huh.
in that language.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But you can use a dictionary. You look and you have your mobile next to you, you type the word in, look it up. Oh yeah, okay. And then you read on. You don't bother with remembering.
Yeah.
Kindle allows you to look up a word on a click
Mm,
or whatever software you want to use.
mm,
And do 10 minutes a day. You
mm.
have 10 minutes a day. So read 10 minutes a day, much more satisfying than torturing yourself with any course, even mine. Yeah. I do my best to make it entertaining, but in 10 minutes you barely heat the pan to fry the schnitzel.
Ja, echt.
Yeah. Try to find the joy back, and then you go back to the course because you want to know, oh, well, how is this grammar going? The grammar is such a delicacy. Yeah. You have to earn your way through the grammar,
Okay.
I would say. Okay. Can I? Shall I leave you alone for now? You
Please,
happy
bitte.
to? Yeah, enough input. Yeah, sure. Okay, but if you have any questions at any time, right? So same with Eli or Ellie. I'm not sure how to pronounce. Depends on your country.
Yeah, hi Michael. It's Eli. Hi
See.
everybody.
Hi, Eli. Anything I can do for you, Eli? Or Craig is also, of course, invited, but Craig is an alter Hase. He's been here before. He knows how it goes. If none of you have anything else, if you're already satisfied with the first 10 minutes, we call it a day and have an early supper. Mm. Yeah, because I'm not. What have I been
Okay.
looking at? Yeah, Craig, come.
Okay, hi
Or
Michael.
Eli.
I would like to try and see if I can get into a bit of a conversation.
Ja, hau rein.
Okay, so I'm still in A1 for now, so I'm just trying. I think the hardest part for me is speaking.
You don't
So
tell. You don't say.
so it is, but I'm able to, I think reading too is a bit difficult, but I think I want to be more proficient with speaking or in speaking.
What
So,
do you mean by proficient?
Basically I want to get better
Better
speaking.
is easy. You learn one new word, you're better. So better is a kind of word that is not helpful because it's easy to be
Mm.
better. Better needs to be defined. What does it mean in your case?
So in my case, my major challenge is thinking about the words to speak before I speak them, trying to formulate the sentence. That's my major challenge. Although, like the free speaking practice in the course has been really helpful, however, I just want to flow. Basically, I want to be able to flow naturally. I know I'm still learning, but I just I want it to be smoother, so to speak.
Can
So
I say a
that,
few words because Phoebe had the same question in the beginning or the same problem? Yeah, and
yeah.
I put Phoebe around A2 and you are A1.
Mm,
Again,
yeah.
first think a little bit about what you mean by better. Usually the aim of most German learners is to speak like we do right now, without any effort, without having to really think first and then express myself. Because if you have to think first and then say what you do, that's not a conversation. That's someone waiting for you to say what you think, and that is a bit cumbersome and difficult. Doable, and some people have the patience. But a real conversation you are not going to have before you finish B1. And if you ask me from my experience, I would say something like this happens after or mid B2.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. It might be different in Spanish because it's a simpler language, but you need to work towards this level, the flow. A flow happens somewhere mid and B2. And ideally, you have done your homework, your groundwork until then, because then your flow will also be proper flow, correct flow, and not just broken flow. Because broken flow is easy. You just talk like your brain spits out without using the right endings, without putting the verbs to the end. That is relatively easy. There's millions of people who speak broken German, and sure, you can join them and you get through this, no problem. I'm wondering whether I had a conversation today with a woman my age, around the 50s, who grew up in Spain and had a German mother and grandmother, and she spoke German until 10, but she also was fluent, but fluent in wrong German with elements of perfect German and a nice pronunciation that at least stuck. So there was no real accent there. Yeah. And so it's easy to be kind of fluent in broken German. The question is that what you want? Do you want flow over correctness? Yeah, that's a question for you to answer. It's not wrong. People get by, and if getting by is your aim, then that is a good thing to do. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Yeah, it's a compromise between how much time and effort do I want to put in to reach a certain goal. That's why the goal is of utmost importance. And 90% of German learners very likely don't set a goal beyond maybe passing a B1 exam for the visum for citizenship. Yeah. And then the goal setting stops. And the goal is not a holy grail. It's not that it can never change or it is something you need to aspire to the end, but it gives you a direction and is something that helps you correct your course to a certain extent. Yeah. So fluency, flow, not before mid B2. In my experience, if there's people who say differently, by all means, give them all your money and you save a few years. And then the other thing is, how much time do you invest in your German? May I ask, how much time do you invest daily in your German learning?
On average, I'd say like an hour. I try to finish a lesson in a day. A1. However, because of daily life, I may not like a day or two. I may miss a day or two, but whenever I get on a lesson, I try to finish it.
Okay, in A1 that could be anything between 1 and 3 hours. Very likely the truth lies in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's assume 2 hours. 2 hours a day. So and this is just math, has nothing to do with reality. Yeah, math is something humans made up. But so officially, on average, if there's a little bit of dedication and let's say not too many inhibitions, it takes, let me not lie, 100, 200, 200, let's say 200 hours per level for A1 to B1. Roughly, that's what language schools sell as intensive courses. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less, so it doesn't matter. It's easy to calculate. So it's 600 hours until B1, plus another 300 hours for B2. So in total, 900 hours. That's the goal. 2 hours a day means 450 days.
Wow. Yeah.
if you don't take a break. So that's 365, as far as I remember, is 1 year. So we have another 90. So 1 year, 3 months,
I see.
if I'm not mistaken. 90, yeah, more or less.
Mm.
Without breaks. Let's assume you take the weekends off. You have 100 days less per year, so possibly 2 years. I really don't bother thinking this through, but 2 years until B2. If you study 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and there is no major inhibitions happening in your life, and you have a structure that guides you all along, even through difficult phases. Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
human. Sometimes you just don't want to get up in the morning, and then there's a day less. So could be at that speed 2 to 3 years. Could be longer. This is a reality check, not only for you. Yeah, people think they are
Yeah.
fluent in a year. It could be. It doesn't automatically mean if you study 6 hours a day that you are fluent in 6 months. All is
Yeah.
possible. It depends on many, many factors. Among others, your aptitude, it's called language aptitude. I love that. Although you can discuss, I'm not sure whether it's not a straight science. Yeah. The BBC had a wonderful language aptitude test, which I loved. The military possibly also has something like that still, but they are not, it's like an IQ test. They are not necessarily undisputed. But let's assume, so there's many factors that play a role. Language you speak natively, languages you have studied in school, how well you are trained intellectually, gender might even play a role, whatever that means, and psychological state, and physical state. So many factors. This is just math. It's the ideal case, or it's an ideal case. But the 2 to 3 years is something that I find is helpful as a rule of thumb to look at. Okay, that's a ballpark, and then you put yourself at ease. Say, "Oh, I don't have to do this in half a year. Thank God." Of course, if you want to do it in half a year, then you possibly panic and you would think like, "Damn it, I have to get up and do 6 hours a day." By all means.
Mm.
What is not in there is this is what language training basically takes. It doesn't consider, for example, you're living in Germany, you're picking up things from the streets, you're having conversations with family, if that happens in German. You're watching TV, you're reading in German, everything besides, which people often don't count as studying. But in a way, it is studying, just doesn't feel like it because we don't see it. We don't compare it with our school experience. Yeah. So again, take this number with a big rock of salt, but it's something to have an eye on and to adjust every 3 months or every month if you like, and see how am I doing. And with my courses, for example, okay, A1 has 50 lessons. It takes me 2 hours each. It's 100 hours. And then you put in another 100 hours in reading stuff, or maybe you take more time digesting things. So there's no need to rush through the course or any course, because finishing a course doesn't mean shit.
Sure.
Ever. I finished many courses, and I'm good at finishing courses. Yeah? Because I had to. So I'm very
Sure.
efficient. I'm very lazy. I don't do more than I have to, unless I enjoy it. Then I do. But many courses I did at uni and in school, I simply didn't enjoy at all. So I just focus on another goal, getting the paper, and then be done with it. So, but this is I learned this late in life that, yeah, I would study different. No, I would possibly study the same, because not everything you learn at uni or in school is useful. Yeah.
Sure.
But everything you do in my course is very useful and very enjoyable by nature. If you don't see the joy yet, that's a discovery for you to make sooner or later. Yeah, there's so many little gems in every single lesson. I call them gems. I walk through Berlin. I still find 3, 4, 5 gems every day. Sometimes the same signs I see, but I still enjoy this. I see, for example, something like this. Türe schließen. What do you think I see here? This is a sign on doors, on our house door even, to give you some context. What does this mean? And what is the thing I see here that I find jammy?
Means
Türe
close,
schließen.
close the door.
Yeah.
No?
So
Close the door.
that's what it means. Door, close it, close the damn door. Yeah. But what is the nuance here? What sticks out?
The tourer.
Yes. So what's unusual?
The E after
Yeah,
the.
exactly. Because the normal word is die Tür. Why the hell is there an extra E?
Mm.
You only see this on signs. So this is an outdated accusative. So that is a remnant of the past where possibly accusative had an extra E. I looked it up many times possibly and forgot because it's not that relevant. I just like that it's there. The E also appears in it here. Warnung vor dem Hunde.
Mm.
What does this mean?
Dog's house.
Something.
Sorry.
Yeah, say again, Phoebe.
It's like the little house for the dog, the living
Could
space
be.
for the dog.
What does Warnung mean?
Warning.
Yes.
Oh.
Beware.
Ah,
Yeah, people that have a house have to protect the house because everybody wants a house nowadays, so it would steal it. So that's why they have dogs to guard it. So beware of the dog. But is it beware of the dog or beware of the dogs?
Dog, singular.
Hunde, dogs. Okay.
That's what you would think. But I can tell you, I can see this is a single dog.
Dem.
Because the dem grammar tells me this is singular. I will not dive into this. This is singular dative, and yet there is an extra E. The same principle as with Türe. So the E in the past was used for accusative and dative because the last one, this one is dative. Yeah. And this one, what do I close? This is the accusative. So this is stuff I see and I enjoy. And you can ask ChatGPT, hey, why is there an extra E? I did this. It's an old accusative and dative. That's all I need to know. But it's a little gem and you see it everywhere. Yeah. And you see Hunde normally means dogs, but here it is singular. So you don't have to fully understand this, become a linguist, but this sticks with you. Yeah. And then there is bigger signs and with more text on it. I have 20 or 30 pictures of do not park here, get your car out of the way in all variants, also like that. So read the signs, yeah? Read a book, read an article, read something that your heart desires, not what your head desires and tells you, oh, you should read this because it is for German learners. Nothing more boring. Yeah, I love my courses, that's not the point, but if I had a choice, I would not read the texts, although I read them a few times, of course. Yeah. And they are funny and nice. I have a nice book for B2 you can try if you like science fiction. But I maybe you still have access to it, but I sell it extra now. It's called Huyama. That's actually a nice book that I co-wrote. Someone else wrote the story, but it was a bit bland. So I added a little bit of German humor to it. Yeah, which means I copy-pasted it. There's no humor, no worries. Yeah.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Because I think I am now feeling inspired because I often have looked at the papers and stuff, but I haven't read them because somehow I thought it was like be counterproductive because the text was too complicated.
Depends on what you want.
Yeah, no, there's not really a rule around that then.
Well, it is, of course, enjoyable to read the text and understand most of it, especially if it's a story. But then you can also look at text and see, what do I get already? Pick out the raisins, we say, die Rosinen rauspicken, yeah? Just see, oh, maybe there's something, and do it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you do it for an hour, it's torture. Yeah, because you think you have to push through, I have to do this, I have to read it, and then I've read it, but I didn't get anything. And then the frustration actually overlays the joy. But you find one word in a text, and somehow it keeps your interest. Of course, at that speed, you will never learn German, but that's only one activity of many that you do. And the hardest thing to maintain is the joy and motivation, because it's easily killed. Yeah, especially when you are on your own. I'm not always around. I do these classes as long as people show up, but if that ever stops, then there's no classes. You need to hire someone to motivate you, and it's fine. Yeah, I understood that also late. It's okay to pay someone to just motivate you if you have the money. And it's easier and nicer with people. That's why going to classes, I would possibly always go to classes, but then I wouldn't have the aim to be very efficient, because I don't necessarily find in-person classes the most efficient way I could learn. Yeah, but I mostly enjoyed the classes. But I always did my own thing anyhow, because I was a bit faster in many things. Yeah. And I had nice people there. So other people can be a strong motivator. But at a certain age or a certain point, if you go to certain integration courses, like in Germany, right, there is these so-called integration classes. Sometimes you're put together with people that you have no connection with, and then you're lost. Then you have to go there, sign in, sign out, and make an appearance, and pass the exam. But where's the joy? The joy is in people, in interaction, for me at least. But for some people, it is in reading a book, a short story. Find real short stories written by authors that make a living from this, or died poor but became famous. Yeah. Yeah. And even simple stories can, of course, help. Yeah. So I will not say that all there's short stories for German learners. They're also entertaining to an extent, sure. But the books I read that touched me were books written by geniuses, like literary geniuses. Amazing what people can do with language. Wow. You fall in love with the language, you fall in love with the storytellers. Yeah. So if you find a good storyteller that writes stories for German learners that are interesting and make you smile, maybe good. All good. Yeah. So watching movies is an overkill before the end of B1. Of course, watch 10 minutes, half an hour, watch an episode of any series you like in German. The dubbing is horrifying, but you might not care because you're learning the language. I watched a whole series in German lately, dubbed, and I got used to it, but it was more in the background. So fluency, Eli, this is the reality. It takes you a year, 2, 3. So, and the same for Phoebe. So initially you say you cannot really speak yet. You have to think about the words. That's exactly what you learn in my courses. The free speaking, I have to admit, I have to make a tutorial for you to get more out of it. But first of all, you have it in 5 levels, right? Or 4 levels, 1 to 5, A1 to C1. On the left, you always have inspiration. You have sentences you can simply copy, say out loud. And you can also vary them or butcher them, that's okay. So the 5, 6 sentences in A1, A2 are more than enough. 30 seconds to 60 seconds conversation with an AI in A1 is quite a challenge. It's already quite something. Plus, when you're done with the conversation, you get the transcription. The evaluation is fine. Don't take it too seriously. It's an AI evaluating you. It's not that bad, otherwise I wouldn't have put it there. But you get the transcription, you can download it, you can look at it. Look at how you speak. Look at what the AI is saying to correct you. Sometimes it corrects you indirectly. It doesn't directly correct you ever. That's not the aim of the exercise. Work with that text and then repeat and learn again and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Simple. Yeah. And when you get bored, you stop and then you continue with another activity. That's why there's so many different activities in my courses, that you have something else. Yeah, because eating soup every day is fine, but sometimes a schnitzel is it's a welcome distraction, diversion. Mm.
Yeah, if I must say, my free speaking practice has really improved. It used to be sometimes 1/4, the four uh, parts where you're being watched. What used to be 1/4, 1/4, now it's 2/4 now. So for the first time yesterday, I got a 4/4 in one of the this, but it's now like 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, and then 4/4. So it has really, really helped me. I must say, it's your course is really wonderful. It has really helped me. I have to tell you the fact.
Maybe the AI became conscious and is just more compassionate now after seeing you.
I think
Well, it's a good sign.
I've done better. Yeah, I actually think I've done better. I've done better than before.
Good to hear. Yeah, it's a relatively new add-on, and I'm working on a new platform where it will be and I will make better tutorials also, but not in the old course yet. And it's a beautiful tool. The moment I saw the raw version of this chatbot, I knew this is excellent, and this is the worst it will ever get. There is in the making for the next 2-3 years an AI that can actually, or at least pretends very well to improve your pronunciation. I found that fascinating. But for German, they always work on English first and then Spanish. And at one point, German comes because there's more money here than in some niche languages. So there's more to come. Yeah. And I have also in the new tool, you will read out loud, and it will judge your pronunciation on a word level, which is already enough on A1, A2. You don't need to go into so much detail as a beginner. You have so many things around to think about. The most important thing, or one of the most important things, is vocabulary. Because if you don't have the bricks to build a house, you cannot build a house. You don't have words, what do you want to talk about? Of course, you can communicate with 1-2 words, and the context will possibly help you achieve your goal. Well, if you want to express yourself and communicate in a satisfying manner, you need the bricks to build the house of your dreams. So collect bricks, and ideally you already plant them and start building the house, which is what the course does. So work with my Anki decks. I love this. I made really nice Anki decks. I have a built-in vocab tool also in the new platform. There will be a built-in vocab tool which does the job. Yeah. But the Anki on top, the Anki you can use on your phone and do when you sit on the toilet, yeah, or brush your teeth. So this is something you do in between, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, because it can get boring also quickly. But hammering vocabulary into your brain doesn't harm. And reading a lot and rereading, finding the words again is very helpful also for that. And it's more entertaining than doing the vocab stuff. But combine things, do many different things. It's like food. Yeah, a few more ingredients can make quite a difference. Yeah, and the balance of things. Yeah, too much sugar, too much salt, and the food is spoiled. So too much vocabulary hammering. It's okay for a day, but then you have to recover the next day. It's like dieting. So this is always the we say the art, the Kunst, to find the balance. Mm. So fluency, anything else? Pre-formulate, sure. So one last thing regarding pre-formulation. You can, of course, lay out 50 phrases that you want to use. No harm in that. If you can memorize them, however you want to do this, do so and see where you can use them. The problem is, let's say you go to a doctor, how often, so sometimes you see recommendations like, oh, let's practice going to the doctor. Right? How often do you go to the doctor? I hope not too often. If you go there often, sure, then it's worth it, yeah? But then gute Besserung first. But I go to the dentist once, twice a year. I honestly don't even have to talk to them much. They know what I'm there for. What do I want to prepare? Wann machen wir den nächsten Termin? It's one sentence, once a year. Not worth the effort. You can look that up right before, try and practice, and then try it then, and then forget about it. But these are things that honestly I wouldn't bother learning because I'm lazy. I would really learn phrases that I say a lot. And that requires you to understand or to become aware of what are you actually saying all the time. What is it you're saying? And the free speaking tool gives you the transcription. It shows you how you speak. Yeah, it helps you become language aware. Yeah, and that is it's a process that takes a while. It's not that I sit here and reflect on my English all the time, but occasionally that breaks through. Yes. Or if I hear you say something differently or use an interesting word, then I'm aware. I notice that and I like it. So learn to listen to yourself and to others. How are people speaking? How are people saying the things around you? If you have Germans around you, if not, not. Yeah. Yeah. And again, joy. Do things you enjoy and the rest will come together as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so actually I'm based here I live in Nigeria. So I don't have Germans around me. However, I have a question. Say, for example, when listening to German songs, would you recommend just listening to them or following along with the lyrics on the screen? So,
Would you enjoy that?
so I recently came across an artist on YouTube who sings German music. So what I'm thinking of doing is just play the music maybe while I'm driving. But then again, I'm thinking maybe listening and then since it's on YouTube, listening and then following along. I'm just thinking what might be easier or what might help. Is it following along? Because I want to see if I can just listen to the words without reading the lyrics and see if I can understand what he's saying.
Yeah, try that first. Why not?
Okay.
I was always lousy at learning lyrics. I think the few lyrics I learned, I only know 1 or 2 lines of still, but people sing along, right? And there's songs you can sing in a group. It's fun. You can sing out loud in the car. My advice is first, yeah, you try. How much do you understand? You can listen to a song for the emotional value of music, and if you enjoy the sound of the German language, who doesn't? I mean, yeah, it's such a melodic, beautiful language. It's a wonder why people don't listen to this, even though they don't understand. Yeah, but there's these famous videos that show you how soft and gentle it sounds in general. No, so you can do that. But if you want to have value out of it, my advice is, for example, look at the chorus. Usually there's a chorus. I'm not sure there's modern artists that might not do this. And the chorus is like 3-4 lines sometimes. Why not memorize them? Look them up, memorize them, and then you can sing the chorus along. I don't think you need to sing the whole song. It's nice if you translate it once and know what they're singing about. Just translate it and read. This is what he said. Oh, maybe I shouldn't listen to this. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, sometimes you listen to things that change. Once you understand them. But so I find it satisfying to know what I'm listening to, and it's satisfying to be able to at least recite 2, 3, 4 lines of anything. If you enjoy music and if that's your goal, if you just want to listen to the German language in music form, also no problem. You can just enjoy and ignore the meaning. Yeah. So music is limited, but it is in when it comes to language itself. You learn a few phrases per song, sure. How many songs do you listen to that are in German every day? Yeah, let's say 1. So you have 4 lines every day. It takes you 3 days. So let's say 40 lines a month. Not bad. They might repeat themselves. They might not be too useful for everyday life, but at least there's something you can throw around and enjoy. Yeah. And of course, you will not do this consistently. It's music. Yeah. And there's other music you listen to, hopefully, other than German. Yeah. And what is there? So,
Yeah.
but there is an emotional value, because if you enjoy the music, you feel joy, or you feel whatever the music wants to evoke in you, and then power, or sadness, and then you have an emotional connection to the language, and that is something that is the biggest value of music, I find. Yeah, you remember always the song you first had sex to, or met your wife, husband, whatever, or you bought your dog and you drove home listening to, God knows, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah. So there's always music is often connected to key moments in our life. So it's a very strong connector to the language, strong recommendation. But so are stories, so are movies, the moment you can unlock them to an extent. So don't overthink. Don't overthink always how can I get more out of this? Do what feels natural to you, enjoy. Mostly enjoy the music, and of course look up a few words, even if you only get one word out of it. I have no songs, German songs in mind. Yeah. Here's one line I know. Schwarz, braun ist die Haselnuss. So I'm not sure whether that has any practical value. Yeah? Black, brown is the hazelnut. So it's a song or a line from Heino. Heino is one of the most famous singers, at least in my generation or my parents' generation. Not that I listened to Heino much. But Heino had one album that was interesting. Heino covers Die Ärzte. And then it gets interesting. Die Ärzte is a very famous German punk band, let's say, and they are from Berlin and they occasionally play around here. And they are pretty known. And Heino covers this punk song. So he's a folk singer and he suddenly sings these songs in his own manner. So all these things, yeah. But even if you say Schwarzbraun ist die Haselnuss and you throw it into a conversation, the person is perplexed and just creates a funny moment. Why not? Language is to play with, it's not only to communicate and to do a job, but it's also to play around and have fun with. I have a lot of fun with language every day. So I hope you uncover that as well.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion?
Always.
I really enjoy the story about Herr Müller, der Hunde, the Möpse. Yeah.
Don't spoil too much.
Yeah. So is it possible to like have the complete audio somehow where one can just so all the lessons, right? All the lessons, we get them into one audio, full audio, whereby one probably while doing some work or driving, you can just listen to it. The whole thing.
Let's take a look whether I am ahead of you already. So in the community to which you have access, there is you should see this, Smarter German Resources. I have a limited view because my screen is smaller. Let's see. I can also search somewhere. Let me actually increase the screen size. Sorry, because I cannot operate on this. Okay, it doesn't snap. Where do I search? Here. Full audio. Let's see. It's a bit slow because 5 different apps are using the internet. But in Smarter German, look at this. There's a little post here that says full audio. And you see there's a couple of links here. Can you see this?
Yeah, nice.
Mhm. So
Nice.
everything you think should happen is possibly already done. Yeah.
That's really nice.
And so as a student, you have access to the community. Let me see how I get back here. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's really good to know. I'll go get them
Yeah,
immediately.
and it's fun because you work through them already, right? And it primes you for future lessons, and you have more chances to recognize things. There's more to come. There's a lot more to come. Let me give you a little. This is the new platform that is not accessible yet. You see, you in the future you will be able to separately use all the tools. There's also a nice app that I will launch at one point once I'm done, where you can repeat certain phrases, you can conjugate and just mechanically. So some people asked for this. There's pronunciation stuff. Not even sure what this is. So many new things. Oh, that's interesting. See, I've been really productive in the last year. I've created so many things I don't remember what it was. Dictation, writing. You have a new creative writing section where you can write poems or lyrics yourself or nonsensical stuff. New grammar trainers, new exam trainers for A1 to C1. Yeah, so all this I've been doing under the hood, and there's more to come.
When is it coming out?
Well, it's a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
I will offer it for a limited amount of people beforehand to see whether there is any remaining bugs. There's a couple of minor things. The major stuff is done. I'm currently adding instructions for the preachings. So here, so I give before I didn't give any explanation to the preachings. The grammar itself was given by the examples or by the lesson. Now you have a kind of mini grammar lesson here, an overview, and then you do the preaching. Yeah, so I'm working on this right now. Only 200 more to go. Yeah, so a few more days or weeks. And when that is done, I click through everything, and then I shall be done. Yeah, so this is Christmas is earliest I promise, but I will offer it hopefully in October already to 100, 200 people to see whether my server actually does what I think it should do. This is all on my platform. It's not on Teachable anymore, simply because Teachable adds a layer on a layer, and I removed all the layers. And I don't need to offer what Teachable offers to hundreds of thousands of people that create thousands of courses. I have my 20 courses, and I can connect them all. It's a huge upgrade. Really looking forward to it. Yeah, and it's the same courses, but a lot more streamlined. And let's see whether it opens. Sometimes, yeah. Oh yeah, here. So you have the reading. The one thing I'm really looking forward to is the vocab. Yeah. So some legal stuff. So you have a player here that stays, and you can click on a word. Of course, you get the translation. It goes to your vocab tool like now. But this word now is highlighted in all levels from A1 to C1. So if you still see it highlighted in C1, then possibly that's a word you should put more effort in. And you can click it again. Okay, now I know it. I don't have to bother. Yeah, you have to manually unclick it. Maybe I can add later on a function where when you have learned it in the vocab tool that it automatically uncolors. But these are nuances. And I love this. I would love to work like this, and it's pure pleasure. Yeah, so this is what I'm doing when I'm not doing live classes. And it doesn't get much better. Except you have an idea how to improve it, then it will get better. Yeah, this is all user feedback, basically, and my research, because I'm constantly researching better ways to design the stuff. Learning is more or less the same, but what is the difficulty in teaching digitally is that the technology. Yeah, if you have to click 5 things and you have to click here and then you have to delete cookies and all this nonsense, I need to remove, because the internet is far from being user friendly. Far. And I sometimes struggle already, and I grew up with this nonsense. But man, there's still a lot to go. Like Frau Merkel said, das Internet, and she said that a few years ago, das Internet ist Neuland. It's a new country. She said that a few years ago, right? So that's she got burned for this. Yeah. So yeah, good. But this is my aim is to make this enjoyable on this level. But the true joy comes from you doing things you know you enjoy that give you satisfaction, which is individual for each of you. And I will also add elements or a course where you can set a goal and work on the goal constantly to keep your expectations in check, because your biggest enemy are your expectations. And yeah, it takes a while to deal with that. Good. It's an hour already. Yeah, time flies. Thank you for the time. If there's anything urgent, you come back next week or you just drop me a line. Yeah, but my courses are mostly self-explanatory by now.
Yeah.
No?
Dankeschön, Michael.
And if you have suggestions for improvements, I'm always listening, as Craig can confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Dankeschön. I wish you a schönen Abend.
Schönen
Thank
Abend.
you very much.
My pleasure.
Vielen Dank.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Tschüss.
Danke euch.
Bye.